Hello everyone, welcome in. My name is Creatively Anzy and welcome to my creative corner of YouTube. um, Today I'm joining you all the way from Ghana, West Africa, the dark country. I absolutely love that. But Accra specifically. And today we are going to be talking about imposter syndrome. I don't know why I said it like that. Anyway, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Recently, I was asked to be a keynote speaker at the Esports Insider event at Warwick University, and I was feeling very nervous about the entire thing. I'd never been a keynote speaker before, and just that whole situation made me want to talk about imposter syndrome, why it affects me, how to overcome it. Imposter syndrome on the Merriam-Webster website is a noun. It's a psychological condition that is characterized by persistent doubt of one's accomplishments and abilities, accompanied by fear of being exposed as a fraud, despite evidence of ongoing success. So that's the actual definition of imposter syndrome. And I wanted to talk to you guys about ways in which you can overcome it. Some ways that it helps me overcome it when that feeling arises in me of being inadequate and being like, am I supposed to be here? And that sort of thing. So the first steps, there are steps. The first thing that you have to actually acknowledge is the fact that you do have imposter syndrome. For me, a diagnosis, is the best thing. It's like, okay, this is what this is. Okay, then we can go on to like treatment or cure kind of thing. So the first thing you have to actually do is, yes, I've got imposter syndrome. And also understand that it's not unique. A lot of people suffer from it or get it. For example, Michelle Obama, who I absolutely adore. She's amazing, a queen, everything you want in the world. I really, really am a huge fan of Michelle Obama. She inspires me so much. And if Michelle Obama can experience imposter syndrome, then there's no chance for the rest of us. What I'm saying is, people who one would think, surely you're qualified, first lady, lawyer, like just everything. You are still feeling like you're inadequate when you're in certain spaces, then it's okay if other people feel that way. So I think that's the first and foremost thing, is saying, yeah, I've got imposter syndrome. And then where do we go from there? And where we go from there is identifying the root cause of your imposter syndrome. And there may be many causes. It might not just be like one singular cause. It might not be one problem, or sometimes a person is responsible for your feelings of inadequacy. It might be a manager at work who maybe is constantly putting you down, and you'll start to question yourself. It might be a frenemy, because surely a friend wouldn't be doing that, who's always questioning, oh, how come you're always getting these things? Are you sure you could do this? And all of that sort of stuff. And now there's a difference in terms of someone who gives you a constructive critique versus someone who's just like, oh, you can't do that, that's not good. Versus someone who's like, oh, I think you could have done this, and that better. And that's like, for example, my sister, she does that with me. And for me, that really works for me. But she's also my hype woman as well. When I need her to, she's like, you got this, but you could have done that, you could have done this, you could have done that. And I like constructive critiques, because I feel like it helps me get better, because I want to know, okay, how could I have improved? And she's someone who will always give it to me straight, but she's also someone who will always hype me up. So I think that there's a difference between other people who are, are you sure you can do that? They asked you to do this. Like, that is not the same thing. That is a person who needs to be questioning, why are you friends with them? So you have to understand where your imposter syndrome comes from. Maybe it's you, because imposter syndrome is a psychological condition. So do you feel like you're not inadequate? Do you feel that this way? And the step number 3, well, I'm not going to count these steps, but why? Challenge these voices in your head. Challenge the voices in your head. So this is the next step. Like, challenge that voice in your head that is saying, I can't do this. No, why am I doing this? Oh my gosh. Like, challenge that voice in your head and say, how comes? Why are you saying that? Challenge that person who is saying, you don't deserve to be here. You don't deserve this. Maybe this is not for you. So always challenge that voice in your head or that person who is putting you down. And when you're in a certain space and you're thinking, should I be here? Do I deserve to be here? Challenge that voice and say, yes, I do. These are the reasons why I deserve to be here. And that's moving on to my next stage, is embrace your strengths. For me, I'm a planner. I do like a very good list. Makes me feel accomplished. I write a list. Usually I do it like on a Sunday or like a Monday morning. And these are all the things that I want to complete, either on the day or the week. And then when I tick it off, I feel very good. Now, in terms of imposter syndrome, when I'm feeling like, oh, do I deserve to be, I will, or for example, the keynote speech. These are the list of the things to do in terms of, I need to write the speech in the first place. These are the things I want to cover in the speech. Let me go over this speech with other people, so it's just like, I know that I'm a very good planning, and the planning makes me feel good. Okay, I've got this in terms of like the strength of my planning. Sometimes being a good public speaker, not always my strongest suit. So I know that the planning beforehand will help in terms of when I feel like I'm falling a little bit short, So definitely lean into your strengths and the things that you know that you can do when it comes to feeling like, oh my days, I'm nervous, do I deserve to be in this room, and that sort of stuff. The next thing is learning from your mistakes. Like I mentioned before, I like a good critique. Some people don't always want to be given a harsh truth immediately. Beautiful light here and there is alright. Have someone who will give it to you in the way you want. Some people like negative reinforcement. I don't know. Those people do that. If you like what you like. Some people like positive reinforcement. Learn from how you've done something wrong with someone you can trust. So that constructive criticism, like I was talking about. This is where I went wrong. This is what I wish I'd done. And then so next time, I can be like, okay, this is how I can fix it. This is how I can be better. Maybe I should project my voice more. Maybe I should network with people a little bit more. Maybe I should do this, that, and the other. So then I will feel like, okay, so next time going into this, I feel a little bit stronger because I know I made these mistakes here, so that the next time that I'm doing this, I will be better. And who I keep mentioning, my sister, support system, authentic and good support system. Don't just go to anybody. Go to someone you trust, someone who you know is going to give it to you straight. Or sometimes, like depending on what you need, and sometimes I'll go to my mom if I just want a cuddle, or someone who's just going to be like, oh, you're the best, Nancy, like, okay, thanks for being, just like shower me with praise. She's amazing for my mom. Very rarely criticizes me. She's the best. My sister, on the other hand, what were you thinking? But in a constructive way that I know I can believe and I can rely on. My brother, the harshest of truths, it's like levels. But everyone is sort of contributing to my support system, and I need all of the different sort of help that they give me, and it's crucial in sort of a different aspects of my life. So when you're feeling like inadequate or these sort of things, go to the different people with whom you rely on, whom you trust, and know that they will give it to you straight, and then they will make you feel good about yourself so that you can get back out there and do other things as well. Being proactive when it comes to what you're feeling like and why you're feeling like this, and also what's the one of the most important things for me is to not leave that space. My brother and I have an analogy that we're always using on panels is, would you rather be like screaming for change from the parking lot or be in the boardroom? You want to be in the boardroom. Now, something in your life, the steps in your life, all the actions that you've taken have all been reaching this point where you're in a boardroom, you're in a space that maybe you don't think you deserve to be in, but you're there. Please don't leave that place because you feel like you don't deserve to be there. And that's how I felt. I felt like, why am I being asked to be a keynote speaker? Am I good enough for this? You have to tell yourself, well, you were invited to this thing. So someone thinks you're good enough, so maybe you are. And that's about when I circle back to the challenging that voice in your head. Someone thinks you're good enough. And also list the things that you've done. Like, oh, I've done this workshop, I've done this panel talk, I've done this, I've done that. So maybe I can do this. And now that might not always work because, for example, I'd never been a keynote speaker before, but I had spoken publicly. So there was like elements I could take away. Usually it's with a group of people, but this was just by myself. But I knew these are the things that I usually do to make me feel better. Meditate, drink water, I practice. So I wrote down what I needed to say. I went over it. I rehearsed it in front of my family, my friends, in the mirror. So that I know, okay, this is what I want to say, this is how I want to say it. Hand gestures, that sort of thing. My hands down. I have slides for prompts, you know, the looking there, like, I know all these things about public speaking. So even if I'm doing this first time by myself, I know that it's something I've done before, so something I've done similar. I've done something similar before, so it stands to reason that I can do this as well. So that's what I'm saying. So just question those things, have a good support system, and remember that you've got this. And as something that I said in the last video, do it scared. Do it anyway. You know, you're nervous, you're feeling like, but don't leave that place. Stay there, be nervous, but just keep doing it and keep going. And after a while, that imposter syndrome will lessen or might go away for you. For me, ever since I realized I have imposter syndrome, it doesn't actually like completely leave, but it's that voice is so faint, you know, it's so quiet. I really have to listen out for it. So you just have to be proactive in terms of. But what I'm saying is be proactive in terms of dismissing that voice and telling that voice, you sit down, I've got this, I can do it. You know, like just anything that works for you. Watch some YouTube videos, get rid of imposter syndrome, read some books, talk to your friends, talk to yourself, journal, and ask yourself why this thing's happening. Tell yourself these are the ways I can combat it, and give yourself some grace. It's very important that you give yourself some grace and know that there's not like a one fix. Oh, I didn't have imposter syndrome to that. Oh, how come I'm having it now? You know, so sometimes it might come back if maybe there's a bigger thing to do. Or sometimes I've done this thing, but I'm feeling the type of way about this. Give yourself some grace and tell yourself that you've got this. Take a deep breath and you can just do it. And literally, that is the soundest advice I could possibly ever give you. Take a deep breath and just go. So thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you guys as well. My new haircut. I'm still rocking the short hair. But yeah, if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And please comment below, you know, how you guys are feeling in terms of how you've gotten rid of imposter syndrome, what steps you've taken, what works for you, because I'm always ready to learn different things and try different things to use as well. But thank you, everybody. See you next time. Bye. That was definitely less rambly.